Why no team will offer sheet Marco Rossi. NHL Insider Insight. Imagine a scenario where a player's future hangs in the balance and the stakes are high. This is exactly the situation facing Marco Rossi, the Minnesota Wild center, who remains unsigned as the NHL's deadline looms. Despite being one of the most talented restricted free agents currently available, Rossi's contract negotiations have hit a snag, leaving many wondering what will happen next. Frank Seravalli, a respected NHL insider, recently shared his insights on Bleacher Report, suggesting that it's highly unlikely any team will offer Rossi a contract that could potentially poach him from the Wild. According to Seravalli, for a team to extend an offer sheet to Rossi, it would require a significant shift in their overall strategy. Most teams are hesitant to meet Rossi's salary demands, and even if they did, the Wild would almost certainly match any reasonable offer. But here's where it gets controversial. Many around the league don't see Rossi as a top-tier center, despite his undeniable skill. This perception means that teams are less inclined to pay him like a star player. For example, if another team were to sign Rossi to a 2-year deal with a $4.5 million average annual value, AAV, the draft pick compensation required wouldn't be substantial enough to deter the Wild from matching the offer. In fact, the Wild might even welcome such a deal, as it would allow them to secure Rossi's services without overpaying. The Wild might be biding their time, hoping another team will take the lead in negotiations. However, the gap between the two sides remains wide, and a resolution is far from certain. This situation is not unique to Rossi. Many young players with promise face similar challenges as they navigate the complex world of NHL contracts. While the focus is on Rossi, it's worth noting that other players are making headlines for different reasons. Mats Zuccarello, for instance, continues to defy the odds and perform at a high level, even as he ages. His consistent play has earned him a place among the league's best, and there's no sign of him slowing down anytime soon. Meanwhile, the Wild are keeping an eye on potential trades, such as a possible move for Artemi Panarin, which could bring two dynamic Russian wingers together in St. Paul. Off the ice, the NHL landscape is also changing. Evgeny Kuznetsov is considering a return to the NHL, and several teams are already showing interest. 3 potential landing spots include the Washington Capitals, where he once thrived, the New York Rangers, known for their aggressive moves, and the Buffalo Sabres, who are rebuilding and could use his experience. On a different note, Nicklas Backstrom, who hasn't played a professional game since October 2023, is making a comeback by joining his childhood club, Brynäs, in the Swedish Hockey League, SHL. It's a heartwarming story of a player returning to his roots. If you're passionate about hockey and have a story to tell, Hockey Wilderness is looking for writers to join their team. They offer a platform to develop your voice, connect with an audience, and even get paid for your work. If you think you have what it takes, consider filling out their application form and joining the conversation. After all, the world of hockey is always evolving, and fresh perspectives are always welcome. What do you think about the current state of Rossi's contract negotiations? Do you believe another team will step up and offer him a deal? Or will the Wild ultimately retain his services? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Minnesota Wild's contract stalemate with Marco Rossi. What's next? When promising young talent meets stubborn negotiations, the world of professional hockey holds its breath. Marco Rossi, a rising star for the Minnesota Wild, finds himself in the middle of what could be a pivotal moment in his career. After an impressive season where he notched 24 goals and 60 points in 82 games, earning him 3rd and 2nd place on the team's scoring charts, respectively, the 23-year-old forward is still without a contract nearly a month into the offseason. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite his performance, the two sides seem to be at a standstill with no clear resolution in sight. According to insiders Michael Russo and Joe Smith of The Athletic, talks between Rossi's representatives and the Wild have been at a halt since early June. Not only that, But there haven't been any whispers of an offer sheet from another NHL team, which means this situation has all the makings of a true stalemate. Adding to the complexity, Rossi wasn't eligible for salary arbitration this summer, leaving him with fewer options to push the issue. Without arbitration as a tool, the ball seems firmly in the Wild's court. Or does it? Russo and Smith report that Rossi has already turned down 2 offers from the Wild. One was a 5-year deal worth $25 million, while the other was a shorter-term 2-year contract paying less than $5 million annually. What's clear is that Rossi is aiming higher. For a long-term commitment, he reportedly seeks annual compensation in the range of $6 to $7 million. On a short-term deal, however, he's hesitant to settle for anything below market value. Why? Because signing a below-market contract could make him more expendable in trades. He currently lacks no trade protection. Or leave him buried on the depth chart if the Wild acquire a top-6 center or develop a younger prospect like Danila Yurov during his tenure. It feels like the most plausible outcome might be a short-term bridge deal in the neighborhood of $5 million per year. That is, unless general manager Bill Guerin has a change of heart and decides to meet Rossi's demands for a longer-term agreement north of $6 million annually. However, given Guerin's past comments about not being desperate to trade Rossi, though he didn't rule it out entirely, it seems unlikely the Wild are ready to commit fully to Rossi long-term. This raises an interesting question. If they're unsure about locking him up, why not explore trading him now instead of letting him walk later? Rossi's ice time during last season's playoffs may provide some clues. His average dropped significantly from 18 minutes and 15 seconds per game in the regular season to just 11 minutes and 8 seconds in the postseason. Was this a strategic decision by the coaching staff, or did it signal lingering doubts about his role within the team? If the latter is true, it could explain why the Wild appear hesitant to meet Rossi's financial expectations. So, what happens next? Will Rossi and the Wild find common ground? Or will this saga end with a trade? Or worse, Rossi sitting out part of the season? And this is the part most people miss. Even if a compromise is reached, how will this negotiation impact Rossi's morale and trust in the organization moving forward? Could this become a turning point for both parties? Or is it destined to remain a footnote in franchise history? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Wild should meet Rossi's demands, or are they right to hold firm? Should teams avoid overpaying young players until they prove consistent success over multiple seasons? Share your opinions in the comments below. We're eager to spark a conversation. And don't forget to bookmark Breakaway on SI for breaking news, exclusive interviews, recruiting updates, and much more. Wild's contract crisis. Rossi stalemate, Kaprizov extension talks. NHL 2025. Stalemate in negotiations. Wild and Rossi at an impasse. As the free agency period progresses, the Minnesota Wild and their restricted free agent, Marco Rossi, find themselves in a deadlock regarding contract negotiations. It's been nearly a month since the two parties last communicated, and with no indication of an impending offer sheet, this standoff could persist until training camp kicks off in mid-September. According to Michael Russo and Joe Smith from The Athletic, prior to last month's draft, the Vancouver Canucks made a significant move by proposing their 15th overall pick in exchange for Rossi, but the Wild declined this offer. General manager Bill Guerin expressed earlier in June that he was not dying to trade the 23-year-old forward, yet he did not completely rule out the possibility of a trade. During the season, the Wild had extended a 5-year, $25 million contract proposal to Rossi, which he rejected, suggesting instead a bridge deal that the Wild also turned down. Recent reports indicate that Rossi is seeking a long-term contract with an average annual value between $6 million and $7 million, while a short-term agreement around $5 million might be the most feasible option for both sides. Rossi's agent, Ian Pulver, highlighted the differing perspectives on Rossi's value, stating, "There clearly is a difference of opinion with respect to Marco's value. We will continue in good faith to engage the Wild to attempt to reach resolution. We understand that Billy likes Marco, but for how much and in what role going forward? That is the subject of great debate." He further emphasized that both parties have presented fair and reasonable contract proposals, leaving the future of Rossi and the Wild uncertain. Last season, Rossi showcased his talent by scoring 24 goals and accumulating 60 points over 82 games, in addition to contributing 2 goals and 1 assist in 6 playoff matches. However, his average ice time saw a significant drop from 18:15 per game during the regular season to just 11:08 in the playoffs. Awaiting Kaprizov's contract talks. Meanwhile, the Wild's star player, Kirill Kaprizov, became eligible for a contract extension on July 1st, but discussions seem to be on hold until he returns from Russia. Russo and Smith report that face-to-face negotiations between Guerin and Kaprizov's representatives are anticipated before training camp begins. Wild owner Craig Leipold made a bold promise last season, assuring that the team would not give Kaprizov any financial reasons to leave. "I will tell you, nobody will offer more money than us, or longer. So all we have to do is prove to him that we want to win," Leipold stated confidently. Kaprizov, now 28, had an impressive season, netting 25 goals and 56 points in just 41 games. He also made a notable impact in the playoffs, scoring 5 goals and adding 9 points in 6 games, before the Wild were eliminated by the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round. Guerin expressed optimism about finalizing a deal with Kaprizov, stating, "I'm very confident we're going to get a deal done with Kirill. I think he really loves this market and this team. I think he feels that we're going in the right direction." The 5'10" winger is entering the final year of a 5-year, $45 million contract, which carries a cap hit of $9 million. His new contract is set to take effect for the 2026-27 season. Drafted 135th overall by the Wild in 2015, Kaprizov has made a significant mark in his career, tallying 185 goals and 386 points in 319 games. He was awarded the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year in 2021 after an outstanding season where he scored 27 goals and recorded 51 points in 55 games. Additionally, he has represented the Wild at the All-Star Game 3 times. What are your thoughts on the ongoing negotiations? Do you believe the Wild should meet Rossi's demands, or is a trade the better option? Share your opinions in the comments below.